Okay, real talk. I have seen so many beginners learn Python, write their very first loop, and then accidentally freeze their entire computer. Their fans start screaming, nothing responds, and they just sit there panicking, wondering what went wrong. Today we are going to cover loops, while loops and for loops from scratch. How to write them, when to use each one, and the mistakes that trip up almost every single beginner. And stay with me until the very end because I have a question that is going to test whether you actually understood this or just watched it. A lot of people get it wrong. Let us see if you do too. Let me do a super fast recap of where we are in this series. You know how to store data in variables. You know numbers, strings, booleans, type conversion. You have used input to get data from the user, and you know how to make decisions with if, elif, and else. That is a solid foundation. Now we are going to make your programs actually do things repeatedly. Because right now, if you want to ask the user the same question 3 times, you would write the same line 3 times. That is not programming. That is copy and paste. Loops are how we fix that. There are 2 main types of loops in Python, the while loop and the for loop. They are different tools, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly which one to reach for and when. What is a while loop? A while loop is built around a condition. It says, keep running this block of code for as long as this condition stays true. Think of it like a bouncer at a club. The bouncer checks one thing. Is the condition true? If yes, you get in and the code runs. Then it checks again and again. The moment the condition is false, the loop is done and you move on. Real life example, you are waiting for a pizza delivery. You keep checking the window over and over. While the pizza has not arrived yet, keep checking. The moment it shows up, you stop. That is a while loop. Now, how to write a while loop. All right, let me walk you through writing one from scratch, line by line. The syntax is straightforward. You write the word while, then your condition, then a colon. Then everything you want to repeat goes on the next lines, indented, just like you do with if statements. Here's the simplest possible example. Imagine you want to count from 1 to 5. You create a variable called count and set it equal to 1. This is your starting point. You need this before the loop even begins. You write while count is less than or equal to 5, colon. This is your condition. Python is going to check this before every single run of the loop. Indented, you write whatever you want to happen. In this case, maybe you want to show the number somehow. Still indented, you write count equals count plus 1. This is the most important line. This is what makes the loop move forward. So walk through it in your head. Count starts at 1. Is 1 less than or equal to 5? Yes. The loop runs. Count becomes 2. Is 2 less than or equal to 5? Yes. Loop runs, count becomes 3. This keeps going until count becomes 6. Is 6 less than or equal to 5? No. The loop stops. That is it. Set up before the loop, the condition, and the update inside the loop. Every while loop you ever write will have these 3 parts. Now there is also a shortcut for the update line. Instead of writing count equals count plus 1, you can write count plus equals 1. That is just a shorter way of saying the same thing. Plus equals 1 means add 1 to whatever count currently is. You will see this a lot in real code. Now let me show you a use case that actually feels real. One of the most common patterns with while loops is keeping a program running until the user decides to quit. Imagine you are building a simple guessing game. You want to keep asking the user to guess a number until they get it right. Here's how you think about it. You store the correct answer in a variable. Let us call it secret, and it equals 7. Then you create another variable called guess and set it to 0. You need this to exist before the loop starts, so Python does not complain that the variable does not exist yet. While guess is not equal to secret, keep going. Inside the loop, ask the user to enter a number, convert their input to an integer, and store it in guess. That is it. Every time they guess wrong, the loop runs again. The moment they guess 7, guess equals secret, the condition becomes false, and the loop ends. This is beautiful because you are combining everything from previous lessons. You are using input, you are using nt to convert it, you are using a variable, and you are using a comparison operator, all inside one loop. Now, let us talk about the for loop. And the first thing I want you to understand is when to use a for loop versus a while loop. Here is the rule that will serve you forever. Use a while loop when you do not know in advance how many times the loop needs to run. Like waiting for the user to type the right answer, you have no idea if they will get it on the first try or the 10th. Use a for loop when you know exactly how many times you want to loop, or when you are going through a collection of things one by one. A for loop is basically Python saying, for each item in this group, do this thing. How to write a for loop. The syntax looks a little different from a while loop. Let me break it down. You write the word for, then a variable name. This is going to represent each item as you go through the group, then the word in, then the group you are looping through, then a colon. Everything indented below runs for each item. Now, the most common thing beginners loop through first is something called a range. Range is a built-in Python tool that generates a sequence of numbers for you. So if you write for A in range 5 colon, the loop runs 5 times. I is going to be 0 on the first run, then 1, then 2, till 4. It stops before 5. This is important. Range 5 gives you 0 through 4, not 1 through 5. If that feels weird, you can give range a start and an end. Like range 1, 6, that gives you 1, 2, till 6 is excluded. It always stops 1 before the end number you give it. Walk through it. For I in range 1, 6. First run, I is 1. Second run, I is 2. Keep going. Last run, I is 5. 6, never happens. Loop ends. And just like the while loop, if you forget the colon at the end of the for line, Python throws an error immediately. That colon is not optional. Here is where for loops really shine. You can loop through any collection of items, not just numbers. Imagine you have a list of names. Do not worry too much about lists yet. We will cover them in depth in a future video. But just know that a list is a group of values stored in one variable. You could write something like for name in names colon, and then inside do something with name. Python takes the first name, runs the code, takes the second name, runs the code again, and keeps going until every name has been used. This is incredibly powerful. You do not need to keep track of a counter. You do not need to update anything. Python handles all of that for you. That is one of the big advantages of a for loop. Less to manage, less that can go wrong. All right, let us land this. A while loop runs as long as a condition is true. You need a starting point, a condition, and an update inside the loop. Use it when you do not know in advance how many times you need to repeat something. A for loop goes through a sequence, a range of numbers, or a collection of items. Use it when you know exactly how many times you need to repeat, or when you are working through a group of things one by one. Both loops need a colon. Both loops need correct indentation. And both loops can go wrong in ways that are completely silent. No error message, just wrong behavior. That is exactly what we are going to dig into next time. Okay, before the next video, I want you to actually build something, not just watch. Here's your mini project. Build a number guessing game. The program picks a number. You can just set it yourself as a variable. Let us say it is 23. Then, using a loop, keep asking the user to guess. Every time they're wrong, tell them whether their guess was too high or too low. The moment they get it right, congratulate them and tell them how many attempts it took. That is it. It sounds simple, but to actually build it, you need everything from today. A loop to keep going, a variable to track attempts, an if-else to compare the guess, input to get their answer, and int to convert it. Try to build it on your own. Seriously, pause right now and try. Because in the next video, when we go through the most common loop mistakes, I am going to use exactly this project to show you where things break and why. So if you have already tried to build it yourself, the next video is going to hit completely differently. You will recognize the bugs. You will understand why they happen. And that is when it actually sticks. Drop your attempt in the comments. Even if it is broken, drop it. I read them. See you in the next one.